You see, audiences, in the real sense of the word, are disappearing. There are almost none left. It's an endangered species.
Everybody's on?
No. You see, this isn't an audience here. No.
False pretense?
No. It's wonderful, lovely people, and we're so grateful for you, but you're not an audience. You got in free.
An audience?
And not only did you get in free, but you know, as does every studio audience, that you are not here to do anything except be a member of the cast and to help us look good.
Oh, keep that in mind.
Seriously. Have you ever seen a television show where the audience booed and hissed or refused to applaud? It's always a big hit on television, isn't it? Because the people who come to the show know that they're part of the cast and have to help us not to look ridiculous. Yes. Our real audience is 2 or 3 people in a living room scattered all over the place, but that isn't a real audience.
No.
An audience is a big, many-headed beast crouching out there in the darkness, waiting to eat us up or love us or whatever, and it must be either seduced or tamed or raped or whatever. And it must be dealt with. Because anybody who deals with a real audience, as I have, my goodness, think how long I've been in show business. I've been hissed and booed. I've had things thrown at me. Until you've had that experience, you don't understand what dealing with an audience is.
Hey, Danny Kaye, just a minute, chum.
Are you addressing me?
Yeah, Kaye, Oh, you're Orson Welles. I mistook you for Danny Kaye.
How dare you?
Excuse me, Mr. Welles, I should have known. I just saw your latest picture. Tomorrow's Forever.
Thank you, but I'm on my way to appear on the Danny Kaye program.
Yeah? You're going to think tonight's forever.
Who are you?
I'm an average radio listener.
Well, you look older than 12. But tell me, my Vox Popoff, I haven't heard any of Mr. Kaye's programs this year. What does he do?
Your guess is as good as mine. All I know is he has one joke. My sister married an Irishman, O'Reilly, no O'Reilly. You'll find out.
Now, just a minute, my kilocycle killjoy.
In the spring of 1946, with production on The Stranger Wrapped, Welles was back in Hollywood taking guest spots on The Danny Kaye Show, The Fred Allen Show, and Radio Reader's Digest.
Hallmark Greeting Cards present the Reader's Digest Radio Edition, starring today Orson Welles. Here's your host for Hallmark Greeting Cards, Arnold Moss.
Thank you, Basil Rysdale. This Sunday and every Sunday, the makers of Hallmark Greeting Cards present the radio edition of the Reader's Digest, America's favorite magazine, to remind you that whenever you want to remember someone, you'll find a Hallmark card that says what you want to say the way you want to say it. So when you choose a card, look on the back for the identifying words, a Hallmark card.
And remember, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness.
This is a big day for the Hallmark program. Today we have radio's outstanding dramatic artist, the theater's most daring producer, the theater's most colorful actor, the shooting star of Hollywood, a successful producer of pictures, one of Hollywood's glittering stars, and a young man who's setting us all a very good example by taking an active part in politics. That's quite a galaxy of talent. But the whole matter is greatly simplified because all of these are one man. And that one man is Orson Welles. And here he is, all 6 of them.
Thank you, Arnold Moss.
And I might add, a sleight of hand artist and a magician of no mean proportions. He even saws women in half.
Arnold, an omelet is a charm worn around the neck.
And what?
A bust is something a lady wears.
What is it?
Chivalry is what you feel when you're cold.
Oh, come on.
A myth is a female moth.
Well, what's going on here?
A spinal column is a long bunch of bones where the head sits on top and you sit on the bottom.
Well, what started this onslaught?
The function of the stomach is to hold up the petticoats.
Now, wait a minute.
Savages can have as many wives as they please. But civilized people only have one at a time, and that is known as monotony.
Mr. Wells, where did you get that beautiful collection of misinformation?
From the Reader's Digest. Prize bonus from children's test papers. I'm trying them out. I may use them.
Orson and Rita Hayworth had hoped the birth of their daughter would ease some of the tumultuousness in their relationship. It did not. Hayworth later told her biographer that during their entire marriage, Wells showed no interest in establishing a home. He didn't want the responsibility. Then Wells decided to make a musical of Around the World in 80 Days. His idea? A train-traveling stage circus. The cast soon ballooned to 70. Producer Mike Todd pulled out. Wells called Columbia's Harry Cohn for money.
I put all my money into it, and before the opening in Boston, the costumes were sitting in the railway station, and there was $55,000 to pay for them, or they wouldn't go to the theater for the opening night. I was in the box office. I was trying to think who in Hollywood could send me $55,000 in the next 3 hours. I thought Harry Cohn, only one with the courage to do it. I called him up and I said, Harry, he said, what is it? What do you want? I said, I've got the greatest story you've ever read. And I turned the paperback around that the girl in the box office was reading. It was called The Man I Killed. And I said, it's called The Man I Killed. Written by such and such, a paperback, buy it. I said, you get me $55,000 to Boston, 2 hours, and I'll make the picture. I'll write it and direct it and act in it. 55,000 came.
In exchange, Wells would put the play on Broadway and direct a film at no fee. But Rita had a long-standing hatred for Cohn, her boss. In late spring, Wells moved to New York. Around the World in 80 Days premiered at the Adelphi Theatre on May 31st, 1946.
Good evening. This is Orson Welles, your producer of a special series of broadcasts presented by the makers of Pabst Blue Ribbon, the Mercury Summer Theater of the Air. Ladies and gentlemen, the element of suspense is so vital to our story tonight that our sponsors, the makers of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, are omitting their usual commercial message during the intermission between the acts so that our play will go uninterrupted from spooky start to spooky finish. Therefore, let's give Ken Roberts his 45-second opportunity right now to extol the merits of that blended, splendid... Ken?
Of that blended, splendid Pabst Blue Ribbon. Those two words tell the whole flavor story. You see, every single drop of Pabst Blue Ribbon is the happy result of blending.
The next Friday, June 7th at 10 p.m., Wells debuted a new CBS series,
That's right.
the Mercury Summer Theater. It was sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. On the summer solstice, the Mercury performed Lucille Fletcher's classic, The Hitchhiker.
But fresh, clean, sparkling, with the real beer taste coming through just the way you like it. Friends, these days, when your dealer is occasionally unable to supply you with all the Pabst Blue Ribbon you'd like, please keep on asking. For every single bottle you do get will live up to the same high standards of quality and taste. Yes, every bottle will be, as always, blended, splendid Pabst Blue Ribbon. And now, Mr. Wells.
We of the Mercury reckon that a story doesn't have to appeal to the heart, it can also appeal to the spine. Sometimes you want your heart to be warm, sometimes you want your spine to tingle. Well, the tingling, it's to be hoped, will be quite audible as you listen tonight to a classic among radio thrillers. Its author is one of the most gifted of all the writers who've ever worked for this medium, Lucille Fletcher, who wrote the greatest single radio script ever written, Sorry, Wrong Number. The title of this, her terrifying little tale of Gru for this evening, is another spine tingler by name, The Hitchhiker. I am in an auto camp on Route 66, just west of Gallup, New Mexico. If I tell it, maybe it'll help me. It'll keep me from going crazy. But I must tell this quickly. I'm not crazy now. I feel perfectly well. Perfectly well. Except that I'm running a slight temperature. My name is Ronald Adams. I'm 36 years of age, unmarried, tall, dark, with a black mustache. I drive a 1940 Ford V8, license number 6V7989. I was born in Brooklyn. All this I know. I know that I'm at this moment perfectly sane. That it is not me who's gone mad, but something else. Something utterly beyond my control. But I must speak quickly. At any moment, the link with life may break. This may be the last thing I ever tell on Earth. The last night I ever see the stars. Six days ago, I left Brooklyn to drive to California.
Goodbye, son. Good luck to you, my boy.
Goodbye, Mother. Here, give me a kiss, and then I'll go.
I'll come out with you to the car.
Oh, it's raining. Stay here at the door.
Oh.
Hey, what's this, tears?
Oh, it's just the trip, Ronald. I wish you weren't
Oh,
driving.
Mother, there you go again. People do it every day.
I know, but you'll be careful, won't you? Promise me you'll be extra careful. Don't fall asleep or drive fast or pick up any strangers on the road.
Strangers, don't you worry. There isn't anything going to happen. It's just 8 days of perfectly simple driving on smooth, decent, civilized roads with a hot dog or a hamburger stand every 10 miles. I was in excellent spirits. Drive ahead. Even the loneliness seemed like a lark. But I reckoned without him. Crossing Brooklyn Bridge that morning in the rain, I saw a man leaning against the cables. He seemed to be waiting for a lift. There were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. He was carrying a cheap overnight bag in one hand. He was thin, nondescript, with a cap pulled down over his eyes. He stepped off the walk, and if I hadn't swerved, I'd have hit him. I almost did. Almost did hit him. Now, I would have forgotten him completely, except that just an hour later, while crossing the Pulaski Skyway over the Jersey Flats, I saw him again. At least he looked like the same person. He was standing now with one thumb pointing west. I couldn't figure out how he'd got there, but I thought maybe one of those fast trucks had picked him up, beaten me to the Skyway, and let him off. I didn't stop for him. Then, late that night, I saw him again. It was on the new Pennsylvania Turnpike between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. It's 265 miles long with a very high speed limit. I was just slowing down for one of the tunnels when I saw him standing under an arc light by the side of the road. I could see him quite distinctly. The bag, the cap, even the spots of fresh rain spattered over his shoulders. He hailed me this time. I stepped on the gas like a shot. That's lonely country through the Alleghenies, and I had no intention of stopping. Besides, the coincidences, or whatever it was, gave me the willies. I stopped at the next gas station.
Yes, sir.
Fill her up, will you?
Check your oil?
No, thanks.
Nice night, ain't it?
Yes, yeah, it hasn't been raining here lately, has it?
Not a drop of rain all week.
Oh, no? I suppose that hasn't done your business any harm.
Well, people drive through here all kinds of weather. Mostly business, though. Ain't many pleasure cars out in the turnpike this season of the
I
year.
guess not. What about hitchhikers?
Hitchhikers here?
Why, what's the matter? Don't you ever see any?
A guy'd be a fool to start out to hitchhike on this road. Look at it.
Then you never see anybody?
Nope. Maybe they get a lift before the turnpike starts. I mean, you know, just before the toll house. But then it's a mighty long ride. Most cars wouldn't pick up a guy for that long a ride. This is pretty lonesome country here, mountains and woods.
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't seen nobody like that, have you?
Oh, no. It's just a technical question.
Oh, I see. Well, that'll be $1.49 with the tax.
The thing gradually passed from my mind as coincidence. I had a good night's sleep in Pittsburgh. I didn't think about the man all next day until just outside of Zanesville, Ohio. I saw him again. It was a bright, sunshiny afternoon. The peaceful Ohio fields, brown with the autumn stubble, lay dreaming in the golden light. I was driving slowly, drinking it in, when the road suddenly ended in a detour. In front of the barrier, he was standing. Let me explain about his appearance before I go on. I repeat, there was nothing sinister about him. He was as drab as a mud fence, nor was his attitude menacing. He merely stood there, waiting, almost drooping a little, the cheap overnight bag in his hand. He looked as though he'd been waiting there for hours. And he hailed me. He started to walk forward.
Hello! Hello!
I'd stopped the car, of course, for the detour. For a few minutes, I couldn't seem to find the new road. I realized he must be thinking that I'd stopped for him.
Hello!
No, I'm... Not just now. I'm sorry.
Going to California?
No, not today. The other way. I'm going to New York. Sorry. Sorry. After I got the car back onto the road again, I felt like a fool. Yet the thought of picking him up, of having him sit beside me, was somehow unbearable. Yet at the same time, I felt more than ever unspeakably alone.
I don't know what this means, or even if it has meaning, but I can't resist mentioning the fact that this much can be revealed concerning the appearance of tonight's atom bomb. It will be decorated with a photograph, a sizable likeness, of a young lady named Rita Hayworth. Not long ago, I watched quite another sort of young lady paint her lips with something called over the counter the atom lipstick. A case of the cosmetic being fashioned according to the popular conceptions of the original war engine. I'm sure you won't need to be told that Miss Hayworth is not one to use such a thing or to hold it as anything less than a very hideous conceit. Her face is not on the atom bomb, then, by her own choosing, but by election of the flyers who will drop the bomb and who are clearly for business according to their taste. As regards selection, I find their taste beyond reproach, but the bomb dropping itself better be worthy of the accompanying photograph. Is this, Faustus claimed of Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium? Well, I want a better toast, a better boast for Rebecca. I want my daughter to be able to tell her daughter that grandmother's picture was on the last atom bomb ever to explode. Now my time's about up. About time for me to say goodbye to you. With one more word about this OPA business, if I have a second. You can send a wire, if you will, or a special delivery letter to your congressman or President Truman, upholding his courageous stand, demanding immediate enactment of effective price control legislation. If you do, you'll be saving that dollar and making it worth something. Now my time is up. Thanks for listening. Please let me come to call again this same time. Next week, same station. Until then, I remain to yours.
This is the American Broadcasting Company.
When Orson Welles took to the air on WJZ in New York at 1:15 in the afternoon on June 30th, 1946, the United States was about to undergo two massive changes. At 5 p.m. New York time, the fourth atomic bomb was detonated in the Bikini Atoll. The nuclear test called Operation Crossroads was the first atomic detonation after Nagasaki. A fleet of 73 retired and unmanned ships were destroyed, sunk, or damaged during the test. The men dropping the bomb named it Gilda in Rita Hayworth's honor. Her biggest film was then out in theaters. She was mortified. Then at midnight, the emergency wartime powers of the United States Office of Price Administration expired. Although the OPA's powers were reinstated within the month, they were dissolved the following May. In the year after World War II, more than 5 million U.S. citizens went on strike, stifling the economy. It led to the Taft-Hartley Act, limiting the power of labor unions. The largest inflation rise in the country's modern history ensued. Wells remained in New York the rest of the summer. Around the World in 80 Days closed on August 3rd. The Mercury Summer Theatre went off the air on September 13th, and the final commentary aired on October 6, 1946 on ABC. It was the last time Orson Welles produced his own radio series.